If you think your credit score is just a number, this video will literally cost you $50,000 or more. But if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm literally going to show you the difference between having a 540 credit score and a 780 credit score. And it can honestly cost you up to $200,000 in your lifetime. What's poppin', guys? Your boy All Boo. I'm back with another banger. And in today's video, I'm really going to be showing you guys how the credit system works, and more importantly, how to make it work for you. It's crazy that nobody mentions this about credit, but having a 540 credit score compared to a 780 credit score is much more important than actually getting approved. It's really more about building wealth. A lot of people don't mention this because we often think that credit is just for consumerism. It's just for emergencies, paying your car notes, or even paying your credit card bills. But what if I told you there's a whole other side of credit where you can actually be able to gain wealth and also be able to go ahead and generate income from it just by being able to leverage other people's money? So let's go ahead and break down the numbers for you. Let's say you have a car loan of $30,000 for 60 months. So let me break it down for you. So if you have a 740 credit score with a 6.5 interest rate, you will literally pay $580 per month. So if you hit a 580 credit score, the interest rate that you end up getting would be around a 15.9% interest rate. And so you'd actually end up paying $720 per month. So the cost difference over the life of the loan will literally be $8,400. And just by not having the best credit, you literally could have saved that money. So really, as you can see, bad credit is costing you way too much, especially just with one car loan. Now let's say, for example, you have a 30-year, $300,000 mortgage loan. Let's see how much the difference would be. So if you had a 740 credit score with a $300,000 mortgage at a 6.8 interest rate, your monthly payment would be around $1,956 a month. Now if you had a 580 credit score, you end up getting a 9.2% interest rate. Your monthly payment would jump from $1,900 all the way to $2,428 every single month. So that's going to be $1,400 extra every single year that's added onto your mortgage just by not having the best credit. So over 30 years, you end up paying $170,000 more for your actual mortgage just by not having the best credit. So as you can see, that $300,000 mortgage with bad credit almost costs you double of your initial home purchase. So you can really see the difference between having good credit and bad credit can really start to add up. Now that's just for simple expenses like cars, auto loans. I didn't even mention personal loans, emergencies, or any type of credit cards. So as you can see, it really starts to add up really quickly. Now I actually know, because I've literally helped out hundreds of people being able to go ahead and fix their credit. And I see how much of a difference it actually makes, more mentally and also financially, for them to be able to have great credit. You want to go ahead and make sure you understand the credit system. The thing is, there's a lot of different hacks out there, but they change one loophole, they change one hack, and then you're actually stuck at square one. So that's why it's best to understand the system, so you can actually be able to leverage this to your advantage. Rather than the system profiting off of you, you can actually profit off the system. So first things first, let's go ahead and destroy the biggest myth about credit. Most people really overcomplicate credit, and to be honest, it's really simple. I know you see a lot of gurus out there, there's a lot of different credit information out there, but really what's the hardest part is being able to boil it down to your specific situation. You have to understand, everybody that's teaching about credit is teaching from a different perspective. So you really have to be able to go ahead and boil down exactly what they're saying and apply it to your everyday life. It doesn't necessarily make the information you're learning wrong, it's just the fact that the person teaching it, that's why it's really important to understand the overall system so you can apply it to your everyday life. And so really your credit score is broken down into 5 different factors. There's the FICO scoring model, and there's the Vantage scoring model. So with the Vantage scoring model, it's the one that Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion actually made. Now the FICO scoring model, it's the Fair Isaac Corporation. So I know it's a lot of jargon, and trust me, you don't have to memorize it, but what's really important is that 90% of all lenders actually use your FICO scoring model. So that's the model that you'll see mostly on your credit reports and also a lot of your banking apps. So the FICO scoring model is broken down into 5 different factors. The first factor is literally going to be your payment history. So payment history is literally made up at 35% of your overall credit score. So how this breaks down is your overall credit score. Your payment history accounts for 192.5 points of your overall credit score. So it's honestly the most important thing, making sure you have on-time payments and you're consistent with your payments. That's why you see when a late payment hits your credit report, it can literally drop your credit score anywhere from 80 to 100 points. So the last thing you want to do is get a late payment. So the second major factor is going to be your credit utilization. So credit utilization is literally broken down into how much you actually use compared to the available credit that you actually have. So if you have a $10,000 credit card and you've literally only used $3,000, you end up having a 30% utilization. So it literally accounts for 165 points of your overall credit score. What I honestly recommend is to have below a 10% utilization. So it's honestly going to be able to help your credit score and also make sure that you're getting the best possible rates whenever you guys do apply. It's kind of funny because they want to give you credit, but they don't want to see that you're over abusing it or overusing it. So having below a 10% utilization is really going to help out. Third major factor is literally going to be your credit age, and that's worth 15% of your overall credit score. So how long you actually have had your account That's really gonna matter. That's why I highly recommend when anybody first turns 18, just go to your local bank and apply for a credit card. Because the earlier you get your credit card, the better off you're gonna be, especially when you're trying to build out for the long term. So having credit at 18 is gonna give you a lot more years and compared to starting your credit at 25 or even 30 years old. That's literally gonna put you behind the 8 ball, and you really want to be able to go in and make sure you take full advantage of the credit system. As you start getting new and new accounts, your average credit age actually drops, but it's really important to be able to go ahead and get your first card as soon as possible, so that way you can be able to increase your credit age. So your credit age is literally 15% of your score. It makes up 88 points of your overall credit score. Now, the fourth factor we're going to talk about is literally going to be your credit mix. So if you go to one bank, you just get one credit card, and you also just don't get any type of auto loans or mortgages, that's really going to hurt you in this category. So really what lenders want to see is that you're able to manage different types of accounts. You're able to manage a loan, you're able to manage a credit card, you're able to also manage some hard inquiries. And so that's really important for them because that gives them an overall picture of how you are as a financial borrower. Because having a credit card that you pay down every single month is a lot different than actually having an auto loan or even a mortgage, right? So having different types of loans and also different types of credit products is going to actually help you out in your credit mix. And the last factor is going to be the fifth factor, is literally going to be new credit, or better known as hard inquiries, which are actually 10% of your overall score. And that's going to weigh 55 points of your overall credit score. So the hard inquiries is soft inquiries and hard inquiries. So with soft inquiries, these are like periodic reviews that even a lot of lenders do or a lot of pre-approvals do. So it's a soft qualification, right, that allows other lenders in order to be able to go to see if you're pre-qualified, or if you have an existing account. A lot of times lenders will actually pull your credit report and do a soft pull just to make sure that you're still in good standing, or if you qualify for credit limit increases. Now with hard inquiries though, is when you actually apply and they pull your credit report. So a lot of times whenever you apply for a credit card or you apply for auto loan, they'll end up giving you a hard inquiry on your credit report. Now it's best to stay below 3 hard inquiries overall, because it's going to give you the best chance to apply for more accounts. Lenders honestly hate when they see a credit report with multiple hard inquiries because it looks like you're thirsty for credit, and it honestly really matters a lot to them. They don't want to approve you for more credit because you got to think about it, right? If you're constantly applying for other lenders, that means there's a higher chance that you might default on the credit cards that they're giving you. So now we actually broke down the different factors of credit and how it's actually scored. I'll give you guys a 90-day game plan, especially if you're starting off building your credit, if you have bad credit, whatever it is. So after this 90 days, you actually have mastered your credit and been on your way, be able to go and apply for credit cards, homes, auto loans, and also be able to go and leverage your credit so that you can be able to go and start that new business that you always wanted and turn credit into cash flow. So the first month from day 1 to 30, we're literally going to be on our foundation phase. Week 1, go and actually pull your credit report. So if you don't have Experian.com, it's literally free. Go and sign up for Experian.com. Or you can even be able to go to my free annual credit report. So that's going to allow you guys to be able to go ahead and get your credit report and see exactly what's on there. If there's anything that's negative, such as late payments, charge-offs, collections, whatever it is, even bankruptcies, they got to go. If they're negative, they have to get removed off your credit report. Just like when you go for a checkup at the doctor, they have to understand exactly where you stand so they can be able to go ahead and actually give you the right diagnosis. Now, week 2, we're literally going to dispute any type of errors, any type of negative items. We're literally going to get that cleaned up. So for week 3, we're literally going to set up auto pay, and that's going to allow us to go ahead and have any minimum payments that is due on our credit report. Now, week 4, we're literally going to go ahead and pay down our balances all the way to 10%. Don't worry, if you're trying to go ahead and pay off your balance, you're going to be able to go ahead and get more credit, especially if you go ahead and pay down your balance, because lenders can give you a credit limit increase, or you can even get approved for new cards. Now, day 31 through day 60 is literally going to be all optimization. We're going to optimize our credit profile, make sure we have the right accounts on there, and make sure that everything's really in tip-top shape. So first thing I want you to do is to go ahead and actually request a credit limit increase from all your different credit accounts. I want you to go ahead and ask them to at least double it. And most of the times, most credit card issuers have a 3x rule. So what that means, right, is that if you have a $3,000 credit card, they'll most likely go ahead and bump it up to a $9,000 credit card as soon as you have a great relationship and also a great credit report. So we do go over the foundation phase, so you should know exactly what to do and have the right metrics whenever you apply for that credit limit increase. And the second thing I want you to do is to go ahead and add as many authorized users as possible. I don't care if it's your mother, your brother, your sister, your dad, your mom. Ask everybody in your family, tell them that you don't want the card, you just want the history. So adding authorized users will really help out with increasing your credit age and also increasing your limits available. It helps you actually lower utilization and also increase your credit age. So definitely get added to as many authorized users as possible. So I want you to go ahead and pick out 3 different banks per actual credit bureau. So go ahead and actually find the best three banks for Experian, the best three banks for Equifax, and the best three banks for TransUnion. Then what I want you to do is to apply for credit cards for each bureau at a time. So after you found those three banks for each bureau, apply for them simultaneously. So you should literally have applied for 9 different credit cards, but they're only going to show up as 3 hard inquiries per bureau. And also during days 61 to 90, really what you want to do is make sure you keep every credit account open. You should never close a credit account, even if you don't need a credit account, but always make sure to keep the credit card open so you can actually keep the age. And the last thing I want you to do is to monitor your credit score every single day. I want you to wake up and check it just like your bank account. Check it every single day because at any point in time, anything can happen. So you definitely want to make sure you're staying on top of it because what you don't measure, you can't manage. So really what I want to talk about is some things that never actually do. And it honestly will ruin your credit score. So definitely avoid these. Now, everything that I've been saying, right, is to go and actually build out your credit report. So with your credit, it's very, very sensitive. So the thing that you should not do, right, is one, you should never co-sign for anybody. I don't really care if it's your mother, your brother, your sister, your dad, whatever it is, just don't even co-sign for them. Because once you co-sign, you're actually responsible for that loan. So if they actually miss a payment, you miss a payment. If they default, you defaulted. So honestly, I would just avoid it altogether. Now, second thing I wouldn't do is to never close an old account. I really don't care if it's a JCPenney card, if it's an old store department card, whatever it is, just don't close the card. So never ever close a credit card because you actually lose that age. As soon as you close it, you lose the age automatically. So the third thing I would do is to never max out any type of credit cards. You don't want to go ahead and max out any credit cards and go ahead and have a high percent utilization. Like I mentioned earlier, utilization is 30% of your scores. So once lenders start to see that you actually maxed out credit cards, it can run the risk of you getting other credit cards shut down. So you definitely want to just go and avoid that altogether. Now, fourth thing I'll highly avoid is to never miss a payment. So that's why you want to set up auto payment for every single credit account for at least the minimum payment. So what I'll honestly do is actually open up a bank account that's separate for just your credit cards, right? So then set up a auto payment for just the minimum payment, and that way you'll never miss a payment ever again. So these are all the different things not to do, right? Now there's a whole bunch of other things you shouldn't do. These are the main ones I highly recommend you definitely should stay away from. So I've literally broken it down as far as a blueprint on how to build up your credit report, how to actually be able to structure it properly, and also the things that you guys should avoid. So really what I need from you guys to do is to make sure you guys subscribe, tap the bell notifications below. Your boy's on the road to 10K. We're gonna hit 10K subscribers as soon as possible. So let's go and get to 10K. And like always, I'll see you at the top, my boy.